At the beginning of the film, a popular American rock star named John, who lives in a house on a coastal cliff in Cyprus, sees a desperate unknown man. John calls the police. Captain Manoli arrives and tells the singer that the cliff attracts people in depression. This information unpleasantly surprises John, who bought this land and house a few days ago. Manoli leaves his number in case John sees anyone else and then leaves. Gradually recovering, John goes to the nearest store for groceries. The store owner, Kaula, picks out vegetables and spices for him. John arranges with Kaula to have groceries delivered to his home. Returning home, John starts building a fence to block the path to the cliff. Eventually exhausted, he falls asleep right outside. In the morning, he is awakened by a girl named Melina, who delivered his groceries. Melina, who is passionate about music and even sings at a tavern, recognizes the rock star. She tells him that no one has lived in his house for decades. John explains to her that he came to Cyprus to take a break from his lifestyle. Later, John talks to his agent Jimmy. Jimmy advises the singer to return to New York, forget about the failed album, and move on. Seeing an unknown woman, John interrupts their conversation and urgently calls Manoli. The policeman arrives, thanks John for his cooperation, and invites him to dinner at the tavern in the evening. John agrees. Manoli tells his new acquaintance about his sister, who is unmarried and childless, just like John. Then the captain introduces the singer to his friends at the tavern. The rock star is immediately recognized, and they recall his famous song about love for a girl from the beach. John shares that he was here in Cyprus many years ago. Recognizing his old love among the women at the table, a doctor named Sia, John hastily leaves the tavern. Also remembering John, Sia catches up with him and asks what he is doing there. John then invites her to visit him. In the morning, Sia leaves without saying anything, but in her rush, she forgets her phone at John's house. Sia later tells her sister Kaula about John's return. At that moment, John calls Kaula's phone from Sia's phone and invites Sia, whom he still loves, to dinner. Later, on Melina's advice, he swims at what he mistakenly thought was a nudist beach, but he gets sunburned and asks Melina to bring him some burn ointment. In exchange for playing the guitar and sharing stories about his life as a rock star, John asks the visiting girl to help him prepare dinner for his date. In the evening, Sia arrives a bit early for their date. John barely manages to trim his beard and put on a shirt. Then, Melina, who hadn't left yet, surprises the singer by asking Sia, "Mom, what are you doing here?" At that moment, Manoli's sister arrives uninvited with a dish. Angry, Sia quickly leaves with her daughter, convinced that John hasn't changed his lifestyle. John ends up dining alone. Kaula confesses to Sia that she didn't know it was her John when she sent Melina as a courier. As a result, Sia forbids her daughter from going to the cliff. Hearing John's song on the radio, Sia angrily throws the receiver out the window. The next day, Melina learns from her grandmother about her mother's long-ago romance. Calming down a bit, Sia brings John the groceries Kaula sent. John immediately asks if he is Melina's father. Sia confirms it. John is upset that Sia didn't call her right to him. Sia admits that during her pregnancy, she flew to his concert in New York, but seeing many of his fans in the dressing room, she decided not to tell him anything. She was young, scared, and didn't want to raise their child in such conditions. In the evening, John, upset that he didn't even have a choice, goes to the tavern. Noticing him, Melina invites this special guest of their establishment onto the stage. In front of everyone, the rock star admits that Melina is his daughter. Melina, shocked by this news, quickly leaves on her scooter. She is upset with her mother for hiding this from her. Over the next few days, John finishes writing a song titled, "Find Me Falling." Over the phone, Jimmy tells John that the sponsors are thrilled with it and are ready to send a plane for him right now. Meanwhile, seeing an unknown pregnant girl in tears, John comforts her and invites her to stay at his place. He puts her to bed and, just in case, lies down by the door, blocking the way. The next day at breakfast, the girl named Anna admits that she is afraid to tell her parents about her pregnancy. Her boyfriend knows about the pregnancy, but isn't ready to become a father. Meanwhile, Melina's grandmother reconciles her with her mother. Sia confesses to her daughter that she wanted the best for her, convinced that a rock star would be a bad parent. Simultaneously, John decides to talk to Anna's parents, who were expecting their daughter to return from university in Athens the day before. Surprisingly, Anna's father turns out to be Manoli. Anna tells her parents that John saved her. Manoli's wife supports their daughter and tells the captain not to come back until he calms down. Later that evening, Anna goes into labor and successfully gives birth to a baby boy. In the morning, John comes to the hospital with flowers for Anna. Thinking they are for her, Sia tells him to throw them away, claiming he ruined her life. After congratulating Anna, John finds Melina and apologizes for the evening at the tavern. He admits that he doesn't know how to become a father overnight, but promises to try his best. He asks his daughter to help him reconcile with Sia. However, a beautiful evening serenade outside Sia's window, even with the help of the locals, doesn't work. Sia does not come out to meet John. The disappointed singer gives his daughter the lyrics and music of his new song and leaves. Some time later, Melina shows his work to her mother and says she is sure that John has changed. After this, C goes to the cliff where John is, by the way, tearing down the fence. Still loving him, she admits she is ready to fall into his arms. A year passes. Melina is working in New York with Jimmy, recording songs written by John. Meanwhile, John lives happily in Cyprus with Sia. They're together celebrating the birthday of Anna's son. Instead of a fence, John has installed a sign that reads, "Let's talk about it," with an arrow pointing towards his house. Don't forget to subscribe to the channel to not miss out on new videos. Thanks for watching.